Hello, THEO 1003. The time has come for your final exam revision video pep talk and information sesh. I'm coming to you today from outside because it's such a beautiful day. So, I have before me on my screen your take-home exam, and I'm going to walk you through what is going to happen. On 28th May, this exam will go live. What does that mean? It just means that in the box on Moodle, in our Introduction to Biblical Greek Moodle class, there's a section called Take Home. This PDF of your exam will appear there, and you can open it, download it, look at it, print it if you want, but you don't have to. So what will you find? You'll find an exam that has 3 questions. A, B, and C. You have to do all of them. Section A is worth 20, section B and C are worth 40, comes to a total of 100, and that this exam is worth 60% of your final grade. So all your quizzes you've already done, you've passed, those are worth 40% of your final grade. This exam is worth 60% of your final grade. Section A is short translations. These are just like you would have seen on your weekly quizzes, just like you would see in the section A bits at the end of each chapter in your textbook of Duff, probably even shorter sentences than the ones in section A. So you'll get these short sentences to translate, and within them there'll be a couple of other little questions about the sentences. For example, maybe there's a noun in the sentence, and the question will be, give me the gender and case of that noun. Maybe there's a verb in the question that's put in bold, and the little question will be, parse this verb. So just a few of those. And then section B and C are both longer translations. Not that long, they're just little paragraphs of a few sentences. They aren't things you will have seen in the New Testament, so that it won't help you if you memorize the entire New Testament in English. That's not going to help you with these passages. They're created to test all different kinds of grammar that we've gone over, both the easy stuff from the beginning and a few of the more advanced stuff from the end. So the exam kind of tests a little bit from all over, including lots of easy things. So in these longer translations, you'll have to provide the English. There's no point in the final exam when you have to write in Greek or type in Greek. Your answers are all written in English, so that's simpler. You provide the English for these longer translations the way you would on a little quiz. In other words, I'd like to see a nice English translation, but sometimes that does not equate from the Greek, and so you need to provide additional words to make the English make sense. Just like on your weekly quizzes, if you have to add extra words that aren't in the Greek in order to cause it to be a good English grammatical sentence, I want you to put those extra words in parentheses. That's all it will take to let me know the person knows they needed this, but it's not exactly in the Greek. And you can make little notes to me on these, saying like, here's why I went with this. Because it was aorist, I needed to show that it was a one-off. Or you can make little notes to me if you feel that the English you're providing requires any kind of explanation. You can make little notes that say, this word could have been an imperative, or it could have been a second person singular, and so I went with imperative. Anything like that. Go ahead and make little notes if you want your translation choices to be clear. And in section B and C, in the longer translations, there are also additional questions. And when I say questions, I mean parsing. There will be certain words bolded, and then at the bottom it'll say parse this. Now, I know that parsing is not necessarily people's favorite, but all it means is carefully analyzing the verbs and nouns in a sentence so that you can translate it properly. You have to parse anyway in order to translate, so it's not something to be scared of. In fact, You parse in English in your head all the time, and it takes a nanosecond, and you don't even know you're doing it. Parsing is just reading and understanding a language, but it takes us longer to do it in Greek because we're not fluid at it, because there are many steps that we don't have to do in English. So, what is parsing? Parsing a verb, there are 5 main elements to it. The first one is, I want to know who is doing the action in this verb. So I want to know person. Is it first person? I or we? Is it second person? You or y'all? Is it third person? He, she, it, or they? And within person, I'm going to need to know number. So is it singular or plural? If it's first person singular, it's I. If it's first person plural, it's we. So first I want to know who is doing this verb, the person and the number. I also need to know the tense. Is it future? Is it present? Is it aorist? Is it perfect? I need to know the mood. Is it plain old indicative, which is most of what we do in Greek? Or is it imperative, a command? Is it a participle? These are the kinds of things I want to know. And now, at the very end of the term, we've learned voice. So I want to know the voice. Is it active? 99% of the time, yes, it is active. Or is it middle or deponent? We've seen quite a few deponent verbs, so it could very well be deponent. Or is it actually passive, which we just learned? So those are all the things you need to tell me about verbs: person, number, tense, mood, voice. And some people like to add, and I do like this as well, what verb it is and what it means. But that would be a complete parsing. It would be, for example, first person singular, present, active, indicative of luo, meaning to untie. That would be like a perfectly complete parse of luo. What else do I need to say about parsing? Oh yeah. So there's one exception to this nice easy list of what to give me when you're parsing a verb. And that is, what if that verb also happens to be a participle that's acting like an adjective? Well, in that case, I need more information. If you see the participle for like the walking ones, I'm going to need to know, is it the number and the case and the gender, just like a noun, just like I would for a noun or an adjective. So participles may need more information. And that's all I'm going to say about parsing and about your exam. So a little pep talk about your exam. It goes live on the 28th. You have technically 5 days to complete it, but those are 5 business days. So really you have an entire week before you have to upload your answers at 11 a.m. And the exams are not designed to take you a week. They're not coursework essays. They're designed to take you no more than a day. This exam could be written in the normal time. If you had to do it from your head, you would get a similar exam to this, and you would write it in the normal exam time, 2.5 hours, maybe 1.5 hours. So if you had to, you could do this, sit down and do it in 2 hours, and that would be fine. But you have the luxury, because it's a take-home, of deciding when you're going to write it. Taking breaks, sleeping on it. You can take that whole week as you need it, but it's not designed for you to need it. For that reason, there are no extensions given for exams. If you're sick one day, you can do it in a few days' time. If it's noisy in your house, certain days, you can do it on a different day. So really, 1 week is far, far more time than you need. But go ahead and use all of that week if you want, if you have the time to look things up. It's open book. It's not cheating to use your textbook, your slides, your notes, your flashcards, any resources I've provided on Moodle, any of the videos. You're allowed to use all of the resources available to you, your glossary. The thing that we hope you're not doing is it's not a group project. It's testing you. So you're not supposed to compare answers with friends. Don't put your peers in the position of asking them, like, what did you get for this? It's similar to an in-person exam in that way. There's no talking, so to speak. And just like in an in-person exam, there's also no conversing with me. Once you get that exam, you can't touch base with me to see, what did you mean by this? Or would this be okay? It's just like real life. The timer starts, and then I can't talk to you about that exam anymore, and you can't talk to your peers about the exam anymore until everyone's got it handed in. But just like in the in-person exam, you could raise your hand and ask the invigilator something for clarification. You can do that with student services. You can email assessments, SS-assessments, etc. If you start typing that in, it'll come up. You can email and ask them clarification questions about exams in general. So you're not in radio silence. It's just that you don't talk to me and you don't talk to other people in Greek class about the exam until after it's handed in. What else do we need to say? We need a pep talk. So the pep talk is, you have made it. 40% of your final grade for this module is already set, and it's in the weekly quizzes on which you've done great. 60% of your final grade is this take-home exam, which you're poised to do well on. What is my advice for you to do your absolute best? It is to keep doing a little Greek a lot of times. A little Greek a lot of times. It is not to forget about Greek, do all your coursework essays, revise for a different take-home exam, and then at the last minute, try to cram Greek for 5 hours. That's not the way ancient languages work. Ancient languages work the way you've been doing them, which is keeping at it, never letting them lapse. If you close that book for a week, you will lose some understanding of Greek. It's happened to me in my life several times that I've really lost Greek and had to work to get back to a place where I could translate usefully. So between now and the exam, keep it up. Drag that Jeremy Duff textbook around with you. Open it up for just 1 minute here and there. 1 minute a few times a day is all it takes to keep those Greek muscles working and to help you retrieve stuff quickly. I know it's a take-home and you can look everything up, but being able to quickly retrieve where to look it up will save you lots of stress. And some of you, I really hope, and I think it's the case, some of you are not going to stop here with your Greek. You're going to want to use it in your jobs. You're going to want to take intermediate level Greek at uni. So my advice for that is, this is it. This is your relationship with Greek for the rest of your life. You have to keep it up, a little Greek a lot of times. You have to carry around that textbook or those flashcards or something, or soon, for many of you, carry around a Greek New Testament and open it up and give a little try at a sentence here and there every single day. But particularly those of you who want to do intermediate next year, don't let it lapse all summer. Please keep it up just a little here and there. You'll make your life so much easier if you just keep it up. Of course, those who do sign on for intermediate Greek, there will be revision at the beginning and practice, and everyone lapses a little bit in summertime, so you won't be launching in just translating as though you're an expert. There will be kind of a transition point, but you're going to thank me later if you keep up your Greek over the summer for that. Okay, that's enough. Good luck on your finals. I'm very proud of every single one of you. I'm worried that you're going to do too well, and people will be knocking on my door and saying the exam was too easy. But you know what? It's not. It's not too easy. It's hard, and you're all going to do great. Because you have worked for it and you deserve it. It's been a great pleasure teaching you, and I hope we can get together for some kind of, we usually have a pizza party, but looks like it's going to have to be a BYO pizza Zoom party, but I'll be in touch about that. Okay, good luck everyone, you're almost there.